Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Farm Thinking Right out here in the lab. Summer's coming up, but I got two books I'm working for today. I got a nice little lesson, so let's go. I'm excited. Rightism, 25 Rules to Live By. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons, sometimes from the book. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking, mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to, know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? Well, when I'm through, that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but you don't have to answer for yourself. Tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my be true. Right thinkers, every era had their tradition of a follower of concept, right? Thinkers, let's talk about, Heru. Jesus and Krishna are all symbols, okay? Metaphorical, symbolical, not real people. Some people ain't gonna understand that, but I ain't got time for that. But right here, I'm gonna just read this little section. I move on. I got some stuff. We talk about Heru, the spirit. That's what in me and you. That's what been around for a long time. I got a few frames, a few forms of Heru. Let's go. But Heru, Jesus, and Krishna are all symbols of what they call Christ. Jesus wasn't the only one. Okay. And each of our spirits, which are in tune, what in the body and engaged in a battle of opposites. We know it as duality. We know it as the lower self, higher self, lower self being the ego self, set, higher self being Heru, your true self, your real self, Heru. That's what we're talking about. Christ, we're doing the same thing. He's the archetype of what? Be like Christ, be righteous, upright, good man. And guess who will kill you? The ego. Powers that be. See where we're going with this? And every person who led a movement got killed. I don't want to be a movement leader. Why? I'm trying to live. I just want to be a teacher. They don't kill teachers, so I just want to teach and let it go. Why? If I talk about what they do, they don't like that. So I just teach you to understand what they do. That's the best I can do. Why? I don't want to be dealing with them people. All right. So you got duality means if you got good, you got to have evil. That's my yacht. I keep telling you that in order for anything to be complete in these two things, opposite, God, good, devil, bad. Simple. It ain't nothing else. Day and night. That's it. That's it. Understand that and you'll be better for it. Moving on. That's why that book, if you read that Bible, not literally, but allegorically, mythologically, and learn from it philosophy, you would be a bad man. My pastor is, and now he understands the book just that way. Trust me. Again, I respect that. And duality means you got to have two things: good, evil, light, dark, yin, yang, positive, negative, male, female, prosperity, adversity. See where we're going with that? Opposites, left, right. Again, this is the endless battle, which goes on where? In the realm of what we call time and space. The human experience is that battle that we have, okay, on Earth. The duat and heavenly realms in physical, astral, and casual world. You got three realms. The tie, the physical world right here. This is hell, lowest level. We got to raise ourselves up out of hell. Why? To get to the astral plane by what? Activating the kundalini and getting mentally competent with knowledge of self and understanding God from a spiritual knowledge aspect, not blindly just blindly believing what somebody tell you. Do your own work, practice the only thing, everything you learn for yourself, and you'll know yourself. That's the goal. And the last step is what? When the spirit goes on to the next level. The do what? That's heaven. I just gave you that lesson. They represent symbols. I just about to give you that lesson. Signs and symbols. Signs and symbols, principles and examples of how one can attain your highest potential self-realization, enlightenment, horsehood, which is the purpose of life. I'm just starting out with that. Okay, that says it all right there. In the Bhagavad Gita, they got a chapter 5 and 9. Everybody got a book that taught them basic instruction before leaving Earth with stories and metaphorical, allegorical stories that they can use to learn from and practice to better themselves. Lord Krishna says this: for those who, for those whose ignorance has been destroyed. How you destroy ignorance? I just told you that lesson. With knowledge, yoga or wisdom of what? The self-knowledge leads to wisdom that what? Will shine forth like the sun. Feet moving and revealing what? The reality of the transcendental self, God. You and God becoming one. We put it in all eloquent ways, every way you can imagine. I'm going through everybody, and they all saying the same thing different. I'm just telling you, simple, know that self. I'm gonna give you a layout, plan to how to do just that. Why? That's what I use. All I can give you is what I got. What somebody else did, don't care. My pastor don't need to know why. I got my way. That's why. And this is what we call the forms of Heru. Y'all know him as Horus. Okay, I hate that idea. But if you look right here, the spirit is in everything. Okay? Without spirit, there's no life. And what we mean by that, the sixth number on the scale, I'm doing that in my other book. Okay. But all these is forms of Horus. Let me get this lesson right quick. I got to get this out of my way. You see on top, you see the winged disc. Okay. Left Horus, Heru, the winged disc, that means heaven. This is the concept for heaven. All right. Next one you see, they call this the Buto. You ever seen a serpent with wings and a crown? Okay, that's the spirit. That's your spirit. It's signified by this. This is an early one. This is the bird. That's the falcon. They say hawk. Remember, the hawk don't have the dot on the eye, don't have the little thing. So we use the falcon. But either one of them, birds of prey for a reason. They fly higher, faster, and you can't escape them. Okay, land, sea, and air, they're the masters. That's why they use that as your spirit. And they use symbolically to show things from just a picture. I see that, I know what that is. And this is my favorite. This is the classic. To the left, I just showed you Horus in the hawk form. Then I'm showing you now Horus with the winged Uraeus. Okay, this is a Uraeus, a serpent with wings. Okay, that's what the spirit is. The Kundalini serpent power. But this, when they seen this, they knew that was Horus. Okay, this is Horus. This is you right here. This is us. I love this one. This is you, your higher self, your true self. But this is your ego self. If he need to be, let's say, double get behind me, as long as the appendage is in behind, not in front, you're fine. That's the devil running you. The devil's in front of you leading, that means the ego's calling the shot. The first thing you got to do is conquer that thing in yourself. It's a constant battle. Why? Because he don't stop fighting. You got to put him under control, so to speak. And I just showed you Anubis, which is your discernment. Spirit from who? Asar, his father, his mother, and that. Okay? That's what they come out with. The still what? The spirit is in him. And that's his son. Heru, we also his son, and again in the flesh. You got Heru as Anubis. On the bottom down here. Now this one, remember I showed you this picture? This is the all-encompassing God right here. Okay. Heru is in him. Okay. That's considered what? Amun Ra. With all his regalia and all his glory, the all-encompassing one. That's him. And you see the guy right here? That's men. He's the god of what? Sexual sublimation. You see him with the big penis, meaning he got control over it. He don't just stick it in anything like a lot of y'all think. You just put it anywhere. Okay, yeah, that's just again earthly sexual pleasures of the body, flesh. Okay, that gives you pleasure, but that's it. You see right here the dead body. You got Heru and the hawk goddess Aset, that as they watch over the cyst of Asar body laying in the coffin. All these told a story. We knew who this was. We knew who that was. Look at my dude, Tahuti. Pata. Heru is in everything. This is the original concept, okay? And they all got, like my girl. Heru is in everything. That's why I want to get that point across. He's in everything. Why? It's the spirit. God is a spirit. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. For what? To learn and know who we are. But I thought what you thought means nothing. I'm telling you what you need to know. Simple as that. I don't need your thoughts. I don't give you mine. I give you what I know. Let's go. And back over here. That fight, Heru, the spirit, and the ego, that's an ongoing fight. What's this? You got to win that fight in order to what? Know thyself. If you can't conquer Heru in you, you're never going to be your best self. Let's talk about it. Now, in creation myth, story, scripture, line 39, the name Set, okay, is given with a special determinative glyph. I tell you, the glyph for Set, the ego, is what? A man with a hatchet to his head. This is the glyph for Set. Now, if you can make that real clear, you can see clearly that's a man with a hatchet in his head, right? How much more clearer can you show self-destruction? Okay? To oneself. That's what I'm about to tell you. When somebody's self-destructive, that means they're doing their own self the worst harm. Okay? Suicide ain't good. Self-destructive. Calm down. All right. But they're showing you right there. And that means what? Special glyph in the determinative of this primary aspect concept of the word that assigned to its meaning, in this case, the glyph of a man in the process of striking himself with an axe. How much more clearer could that be? That's you on your ego. This is you on your ego. Chopping yourself up. He chopped the spirit up, chopped the soul up to 14 pieces, okay? And this is determinative of what? Death. Showing you ego represents death. He killed your father. The spirit that's in us was your father. He killed him. That's the ego. You got to conquer him in yourself. Why? He'll kill you too. Simple. All right. But now it also means self-humiliating, self-destruction. What is implied here, what we're trying to make the point here is that the principle that Set represents is the aspect of your personality that if you let it, that causes oneself to what? Suffer. Why? Because you're going to cause your own self pain with ignorance of self. You can't live or do right. You're going to do what you feel, what you think, and how it, hit willy-nilly, okay, for yourself. If you serve yourself, you get rewarded with pleasures, money, and all the riches from it. But if you ain't serving your higher self, you can't get in the next level. Simple. But that is what the ego is based on, ignorance of what? Knowledge of its, again, of itself. And the desires of such an ego only leads to what? In other words, the pain and the sorrow that every human being experiences in the flesh is what? Of their own doing. No, listen. And if they live out of that Set nature, lower nature, you will continue to suffer. I got a Mahaba coming up for you now. Why do we suffer? Because of our ignorance. And we continue to do stuff that's going to cause us pain and suffering. When you do stuff that right, live right, you no longer suffer. What? Because you're not doing stuff to yourself that you got to be responsible for by paying for it, dancing with the devil, stealing, cheating, lying. All those things got a price that you pay. Oh, I know that. Yeah, again, that's what I'm here to teach. Moving on. Hope you learn it. When we examine the text of the papyrus, this is all written down. This was knowledge that was prevalent, public, okay, for everybody. When we read the context of the papyrus of the creation, and again, everybody got a story, we see what? Different forms of, I just showed you, of Heru is given. Heru is you self-mastery. You reach that level of what? Conquering the ego, recognizing your mobility in nature, which is that. Then you're going over to recognize your father, which is who? Asar, the spirit. Your mother, Aset, she trained you. She gave everything you need. Now you understand the world. You have mastery over your dominion, which is yourself. They got him picture with no, with he holding everything, stand on the crocodile, all that, that's all symbolic. And they talk in pictures. We put the words to it now to explain it. I love that. Okay. So again, Heru, the spirit that's in all. Heru, is you in the flesh becoming what? Knowledge of self. To go back home to your father. Sit at the right hand, whatever y'all want to call it. But Heru, with the age elder, that's on her. Means great. The king. Now, in the section of the birth of the children of the goddess Nut, Nut gave birth to 5 children. Asar, spirit, Nethet, wisdom, Set, ego, Nethet, mortality, Heru, master of oneself while on earth, while he go right direct up straight to his father. But the work you put in to maintain that, you got to be a warrior. I got that lesson coming up for you there. Heru Badet, they call him. Okay. Oh, here you go. Here's the picture of it right here. We're moving through the book. This is you having dominion over everything. That's Heru Earth. Okay. You have conquered yourself and your what? Evil uncle, which is Set. Everybody got a story about the evil uncle. Krishna had an evil uncle. Okay. Moving on. That's the story that's been passed down. Best, longest story ever told. Not the Bible story. No. The Egyptian Book of the Dead story. You didn't know that? Okay, here you go. But we had concepts and philosophy that we lived by. And they taught you how to what? How do we reconcile? In the story I told you, Plutarch said one thing. That's the folklore. And the doctrine said something else. They said they both was right. One said this, other said that. How could they say different things because they break it down for you? I don't want to get into all that. Let's get over here to where it tells you. Get down here. Oh, I got to read this for you. I got to get this out the way. Now, the former Heru gives in papyrus Heru Kente Ma, or Heru, the foremost what? Not seer, but literally means Heru, the blind one. Another lesson. But this form of Heru is what they call the full potential. And the theological, philosophical, mystic interpretation of this form of Heru is an allusion, why? To the time when the sun and the moon sets. That means the eyes of Heru is closed. He represents the sun and the moon. When they go down, same time, eyes are Heru closed. Meaning what? That when the eyes, aka the sun and the moon, are closed and looking internally, there now is no objects, since they need what? To be illuminated. And in order to be perceived, in essence, to exist as practical realities, this is the highest vision, third eye vision, internally, not outside vision. In essence, the internal or foremost and not external vision. So Heru in any form is the foremost, either from what? The moon or from the sun. And this is known as what they call the period of rebirth. In essence, resurrection of what? Of the moon and the soul. The moon represents the soul. That's Asar, the soul, the spirit that's in us, that behind him, the moon. And that's a symbol of Asar, which is what? Dead and resurrected soul. When the 2 eyes close, now it is also a period, what we call, again, rebirth, resurrection. Why? Because the eyes are the sun and the moon of what? Your personality. And Heru Kente Ma represents the potential of Heru to be born as what? Heru Picard, the baby between Asar and Aset. That creates us, which is the spirit that's in us. We consider to be Heru, but we have to what? Master ourselves. What? We're born babies, ignorant of who we are. We kings just don't know it. Again, knowing thyself, remembering thyself, that's all this conception. I'm listening to see a whole bunch of concepts. But watch this. Heru the child, that's when you see the one sitting in his mother's lap, the Madonna. That's you. Okay? And you see him later on with the lock on the side, the prince lock. I mean, he headed to kingship, but he had to earn it. And this is him. Oh, this is him again in full form. Okay, Heru Badet, the warrior. Wow, who did he defeat? His uncle, Ego, beat him down. Okay, 80-year fight. Moving on, another story. But Heru Picard, that means Heru the child. In the Asarian theurgy, he is Heru Sir Asar Sir Aset. That means Heru, the son of Asar and Aset. Okay, and what they're saying is they give you forms of him and understanding the spirit and wisdom brings life to the aspirant. That's us. Our potential is unlimited. And my man introduced to say, think unlimited, because we are unlimited beings in spirit and in consciousness. Okay, understand that. And the story about Seth, when he was born, Newt gave birth to Asar first, Heru, second. Okay, people tell the story different, but that's okay. In the tree of life, they're gonna put it different. But the real story go: Heru was born grown. Heru is the brother to Asar and Seth. Okay, another story, big good stuff. But it's all about your consciousness and your understanding mentally to understand the stories and take the concept from it and use it for yourself. Again, Haru is you self-master, you at the top of your game, you knowing thyself. Again, that's the purpose of life for us in this physical form. They had it already laid out. But the story goes after Haru was born, Set bogarted his way out. Asep should have been born third. But no, Set story go, he bogarts way, and everybody got a story where Set, the ego, everybody got a concept of him. He always came out unorthodox, unreal. They got the story right here. I'm gonna go bypass that. So I'm gonna tell you that. Now we'll move on over here to the other side. Okay, I call that the fluff. But the story goes, Set bogart his way out, so he was born third. He's in third slot. He shouldn't be there, but yeah. Set was born fourth and left that last. And the other story goes, you got Sar, uh, Aset. Set and then and then Heru depending on how you tell the story. Well, that's how it goes. But so therefore, as a matter of the myth significance and its physic psychic relevance, Set is assigned truly what the fourth position on the tree of life going up instead of the third. And that will resolve the myth and the psychic conundrum. Why? Because they all play a purpose, they have a role of egoism and ignorance. That comes right after what? You got spirit, you got soul, you had self-master, and then you had Aset, which is wisdom, and then ego, which should have been four, and he bore God's way and move her stock. That's the concept. So now we got ego in a higher slot than wisdom. That's what they're trying to show you on the scale. And ignorance that was created by Set. What? Wrong from the birth, which mythologically, story goes, led to the failing out between what? Him and his brother. The ego is jealous. Okay, he wasn't jealous of Haru who was the master of the flesh. He was jealous of the spirit. So good story about that one. Check that out. All right, but and the whole point of it is now through the proper order of the tree and the mysteries of life, you can resolve that problem by practicing it in the way it's taught. That's the thing. Knowing the story is fine, but we teach it this way. And right here it says, one's act on earth are like a dream. What you mean? Welcome, safe and sound to whoever arrives in the West. Everybody who died didn't go to the West. Everybody who passed the scales of Maya at Judgment Day went to the West. It's a different concept. Let me read this right quick. Let me close this out with this. Now, the world, like this, like a dream, understand this. It arises when you what? You go to sleep. Right now, you woke. This is all physical, you're conscious, everything there. But when you go into that dream world, it's all mental, and you think it's real, what? And in your mind it is. But outside there, it means nothing. So all the thoughts and stuff that you have here is personal. God too personal. He's here, but it's all personal. You can share and do what you're doing, but it's all personal. Every individual got to get their own. And the dream may seem to be very real, again, but abiding and even full. But when you wake up, you what? You discover that it really wasn't nothing. But I believe it was so real. I had all that. That's why people, when the dream is good, you don't want to wake up. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. If you sleep, all you got is a dream. And find out the dreams don't really amount to much. Get real. The dream was only an emanation from what? From you. And it has no reality unless you're in that dream state. Unless you support it, unless you now manifest. I drink this, I drink that. Okay, you gonna manifest it. I'm a God follower, I'm a truth teller. Are you doing it? And if you're doing it for the right reason, right purpose, you'll know why. Because you'll be reaping the benefits for it. I do. Do you? I know preachers and ministers struggling, but they're preaching the word because they're not living it. Simple. I know that. And again, if you support your dreams and unless you believe, there you go right there. Unless you believe in it, what? The dream is the realm of numbers and you are infinite. Infinity, excuse me. You are the fullness. which gives what? Rise to your own dream. God is dreaming right now. We all part of God's dream, individually having our way. If you wake up, party's over. Mean not, nope, that's it. Catastrophes, calamity, whatever you want to call it, destruction. We got civilization that's underwater. Why? Calamity, nature, God's wrath, whatever you want to call it. Everything. God gets the wrath for everything. All right. And following this metaphor in creation and the myth, again, we have the Netter Ra is the dreamer. That's God. I just told you that conceptually. And he is the emanator, and the Neteru, the gods and goddesses, are in his dream, and the all temporary creation itself. When he wake up, all this is done. So what is that creation in terms of numbers? When the number 9, I just see my man rapping to KRS, he broke it down. And everything he said about 9, I'm about to do a lesson for y'all. I know about the 9. Watch this. The multiples of 9, of the number. 9, number of the divinities, okay, that compose creation. 9, the highest number. Why? 9 layers, 9 this, 9. All that 9 got its own thing. And watch this. It's mystical. And added, what happened? They all add up to 9. Also, notice every number that can add up to 9 is divisible by 9. My man had to rap. This is what I'm saying. He put it in rap. He was breaking it down. Thus, 9 is what? The highest number. 9 months to what? Rebirth, to be born. Okay? And it's a whole bunch of 9s. And it's the ring finger, 9. So they got understanding. And you got numerology, my man, lived straight home. Oh, he breaks it down. And them brothers who into that, they got their stuff together. That's why I can listen and learn from them. I ain't got to do it myself. I listen to them. I get to understand it. I get it. But I do my stuff my way. So, and then when you talk about that, I just listen to see how the information, the content, right. Okay, so yeah, they on point. But to create a supreme being was this in reality not part of creation and is what the absolute term is not counted as one of the netherworld. This is his number, infinity. You don't need a number. You ain't got no number. Okay, understand that. And the supreme being is the transcendental principle engendering creation. We call it the noon. Okay, is the infinite source of material for creation. So when Ra Tim, he's the unitarian and the solidifier, individual principles emerging where? From the noon. Again, noon and Ra Tim are essentially aspects of the same supreme being. Going back to there again. Creation is given value. How? Due to the presence of what? The self, who is what? The absolute reality, which is the spirit in all things, which sustains creation. If there wasn't spirit and life in it, it couldn't sustain. However, considering what we know to be the high God or the demigod, the demiurge, who what? Who is the manifestation of the supreme being in what? Time and space. That's us, Heru, spirit, come matter in the flesh. And as number 1, the principle of fullness, who is what? Heru, then becoming number 10. He went from 1 to 10, and this is why in the ancient Egyptian mystical philosophy, the number 10 is also special to who? Heru, that's me and you. You plus him, that's you mastered yourself. You become one with him. Okay. Thus, Heru signifies, you ready? Fullness, completion in what? Time and space, meaning this physical body before you die. While Ra relates to what? Fullness that transcends time. That's the spirit that's inside you. This is the original teachings, what? Whereby even the Buddhists, the Hermetic philosophy, latest version of the Kemetic ancient Egyptian mystical philosophy, what I mastered, and even later Christianity, okay, derived from the teachings, okay, of what we say as above, so below. What it means is what's going on here is going on down there. Simple. Okay? And I am who? Alpha, beginning, and Omega, the end. But God is represented by the circle, so he had no beginning and no end. Once we come into time and space, it starts and it has an ending. God doesn't. Infinity, immortality don't have time and space. And having discovered, she taught I can't. That's yesterday and tomorrow, which represents what? Duality. But you represent what? The now. Stay in the now, become aware, wake up, knowing who you are, meaning you living in the present. That's why God's gift, what? The present life. As your higher self, as one being what? The same. You and God are one and the same. Now, what happens? You have for yourself discover, you ready? And learn all that there is to know. Why? You have achieved reaching the number 9. Neither Ross, the farthing horse. I don't know what he calls Ross, because you don't reach number 9, you lost in life. And you got to do it again. That's the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm coming back with the sacred numbers again. We're going to play with the 9 a little bit. I'm going to break the rest of the numbers down for you and the significance that they prove to work if you use them. Climbing the tree of life. I'll be right back. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. In closing, right think that's where y'all live. Be 100. Me, 101. That's a day. So none of my right thinkers who starting to learn who they are passed away.